How's everyone? Good. Good to see you guys in person. This might be a first. This is exciting. This is good. So, but great to have you here. You know, we've had a good start. We've had a good start offensively, and so excited about that. You know, just as I'm sure Coach alluded to, but to be kind of have a pretty normal spring, and then now leading into fall camp, it's just great. The different things you can do with the meeting time and the walkthrough times and things of that nature to really teach our guys and kind of take them to another level mentally, which hopefully then translates to on the field performance. So far we've been pretty good and staying healthy, and the guys are working hard. So excited about it, really excited about it. Obviously, I know you're interested in the quarterback spot. Me too, very much. You know, we started back in January. You know, really, if you think about the quarterback spot at every level of play, it gives the whole organization hope. And we you know, it's a challenge in our room to play at a higher level. And so those guys have been working extremely hard. Obviously, right now, it's really a competitive battle between Anthony Russo and Peyton Thorne. You know, we are monitoring about everything they do to a team, and you know, they've done well. They've been very, very competitive. It kind of vacillates a little bit each and every day. You know, I guess the thing where I'm at on it is we've just really only kind of had the one live scrimmage. So there's a bunch more work to get in this week, and then another good scrimmage coming up on Saturday. And so then I think once we get that, things will start to maybe unfold. But it's, I mean, as far as rep count, they're within like 2 or 3 reps as far as, you know, we're monitoring every rep they take. And so excited about them. I think they can bring new. I mean, we really focus on them is, you know, how do you run the offense? I mean, that's got to be their essence has to be running the offense. They don't have to do, you know, I think a lot of times at quarterback spot you try to do too much. And I think with the way we've transformed our roster a little bit, we feel good about the other guys. And so my goal to them is how do you manage this deal and put our offense in a good positive situation and position. So far they've been doing that well. I put a lot on them. I put a ton on them. But I think that's why they play the position, and so far they've done a really good job mentally in handling all that. So that's an exciting piece. And then the other one is the other 2 guys that have been in there a bunch, but is Noah Kim and Hamp Fay. I tell you, Noah Kim's really improved. Hamp has improved 1,000% since spring ball. So I feel good about the young guys. Obviously, still need to grow and continue to develop, but really excited about that. So. You know, other positions, I would say the biggest thing that I think has changed for us, there's more competition. In every room that we have, every position room we have, there's more competition. And when you have more competition, obviously that lends itself to change for everybody. And so that's really been a goal and a focus with some of the influx of players and the addition of our newcomers. And so that's been really positive. And with the more bodies, we're able to do more. We're able to get more reps in practice. And again, that really bodes well. It bodes well for all of us, offense and defensively. But the main person it bodes well for is the quarterback, because now I can get double reps and get those guys more, and it's a more evaluation tool for us as a staff and an organization. So that's what I'm excited about, and I guess I'll just open it up to you guys if you got some particular questions that you're interested in.
I'll call it a mixed bag for Saturday's scrimmage. I guess what were the pluses and minuses you saw at that quarterback?
Yeah, I think you know, they both did some positive things. There's a few things that I felt mentally that we needed to work on. You know, our defense does some really good stuff, and so we're continuing to work through that. So what I'm looking for is how do we get on a consistent level, at a higher level at that. And so that's what I kind of saw from them a little bit on Saturday. But as far as their command and their presence and poise, you know, we're working on so many different aspects of their game. I think they're taking steps, but obviously still got to drive on different things there. But overall, it was solid.
You know, as an aggressive coordinator, you were an aggressive play call at Minnesota, I guess at Georgia. Don't you have to manage your talent to find out how aggressive you can be, and are you feeling that out, sort of?
Yes, I think I have a much better feel for that. Absolutely. You know, it's you know, you're trying to establish and evaluate your players, certainly, and establish who are the guys, who needs to get touches to help us be explosive, to help us be aggressive. And obviously the other part is, can we keep the other guys off balance a little bit? So it is definitely a mix and a match, but now that you're around them more, you see more of our team. I think us as a whole staff are kind of finding our comfort zone a little bit more in that, and what we can do and when we can do it. Absolutely.
Jay, if Russo and Thorne are still that close, going back and forth, is it possible you could play them both in the opener or even the first couple games, or we have a clear number one heading into Northwestern?
You know, I don't think we've ruled that out yet. That's a possibility. I don't know if we want to go down that road, but certainly it's a possibility. If we think as we go through it and we feel like they both give us a chance to win at a high level, and right now it's very competitive, we would consider that. But I think the initial plan is probably to try to name someone, but I think we'll know more, again in a week or 7 to 10 days, and we'll have a letter brief.
Something you would see in a game setting that you can't see now?
No, but it's just more that. Again, when you get in more of the live scrimmage pieces, it's a little bit different style, I think, and obviously you try to mimic that as much as you can in the practice piece, and that's why everything they're doing currently is being evaluated, from every team rep to 7-on-7 rep, and so we're creating as much of that as we can, but obviously we need more body of work to kind of see, and the other thing that happens too kind of naturally in camp, just a natural progression for all aspects of it is, things as camp goes, more things go in. And so, it changes from the third day to the 12th day because the defense has so much more in, we have so much more in. So how do they handle that? So as time goes, that's going to keep mounting up. Actually, you do more in camp than you ever do in a game. But it's a great evaluator tool to see how those guys can handle that. Right.
5 years. And so
right.
How is he doing in that aspect?
Yeah, he's actually done well. Maybe he's a quick learner because he's had so much transition there. But, I think Anthony has very good football IQ. He does, and he's really picked up on it very, very quickly. Very quickly. And we dive into it all now in the quarterback room at a pretty high level. And so I think he's kind of understanding that conceptual whole concept, and it's helped well. But he's done well.
How much does the offensive line maybe play into that quarterback battle in terms of having a traditional pocket passer with a clean pocket versus
right.
the need for escapability?
Yes and no. I mean, obviously, I think at the start of it, we need to try to get the clean pockets, but we know, being realistic, they're not always going to be clean. So is the quarterback able to manage that situation? And right now, I think both of them can manage it pretty well.
How much different is the competition at quarterback this year compared to last year?
Yeah, I think it's different. But I think there's, obviously we have a different room, so I think that's different. But the other thing that's different is just that we've been able to be around them more. You know what I mean? And more implement things and meet things, just through having a true spring ball where, a year ago, we weren't doing anything and hadn't had a chance to do anything. So I think all of them are at a different level just because of that mental opportunities that they've had just in more of a normal transition to ball.
I'm sure they're getting a lot of
Go ahead.
You have a number of older wideouts. Some of the younger guys, any of those guys you expect to see on the field? And because you've got an older group there, are you able to give them sort of limited packages to help them see the field?
Yes, I like our wideout room. I think we've grown in depth there, but we definitely going to need some of the young guys to come up and step up. The guys that I kind of see, they're all doing a nice job, but Montori Foster's one that is exciting to me. Terry Lockett's really continuing to grow. Christian Fitzpatrick is a newcomer. Keon Coleman's young, very raw, but obviously has very talent. So, we know of Jaden Reed and Speedy and all those guys at the top and Trey, but we need those young ones to come up to help us be able to. All right, everybody all right? Speedy, you okay? Yes, sir. Okay, good. But we need those young guys to come up to add depth, and then because of the older guys, you can pick and choose a little bit where to use them. But I expect those guys to keep growing, and we need them to.
You're getting a lot of story.
Scrimmage at MSU apparently. Is he a guy that you could see as the OC moving around doing things other than maybe being a traditional deep snap tailback type of guy? Does he bring some flexibility?
Yes, I think he does, because I see Harold as a very, he's long, he can run. And so definitely, and he has shown good ball skills to this point. So I think you could move him in a lot of different areas, and we've tried to do that a little bit with him. So yeah, I see him as being very multiple in use.
Where are you guys at the play action standpoint, and how much progress have you made since last year, especially with the offensive line maturation and also the incorporation of running back?
Yeah, I think it's obviously a big part of it, what we do, and obviously that starts with having a successal run game. This day and age, you got to throw it, you got to run it. You have to be able to do both. And so I feel we've taken strides in that. The O-line is on a new level, completely new level than they've been on, and then with the addition of the backs and our ability to run it, that you got to help the play action and then try to create issues for the defense. Where are they going to put their numbers? How do they choose to defend you? So it's been a big focal point for us, and obviously needs to continue to be.
You and Mel are getting a ton of quarterback questions, obviously.
Right.
I know you don't care who starts, but it's been said that quarterback is my girlfriend. If you have two, you have none. Would you like one to separate between now and game day?
Yeah, I think in a perfect world, I think you would like to have that. But, we've all been through this a bunch that we're going to need all of them. Just with the injury deal, many years as I've been through this, you're going to get nicked and shoot. Sometimes it happens in game 1, sometimes it happens in games 11. So, yeah, I think if you can get to that point where you feel that that's definitely the route where you'd want to go, but we're going to need them all.
How much of an emphasis do you place on scrimmages as an evaluation tool? I think Mel kind of compared them to NFL preseason games, so how does that come factor into you guys?
Yeah, I think that's a fair analogy with that piece. It's important. When we practice, of course, we're trying to create, in a certain sense of the word, as much havoc as we can for those guys. So you get in the scrimmage, now they're out there on their own, and a different type of deal, and so you kind of want to see how they develop there. How do they show up? Also some guys, first time in the stadium is a big piece for them. So definitely a big tool for us because we don't have the luxury of the NFL with the preseason, and so there's a lot of stock put into those. That now, hey, and particularly because now the defense is in a true tackle mode. And you can kind of see your running backs, your wide receivers, your tight end. What are they doing with the ball in their hands? All those types of things. So it's a very big tool.
When you look at your running backs, is there an ideal number of guys you'd like to play in a game with you?
Yeah, I don't know. I've never had a particular number. I think you have to. That's a very fine line, in my opinion, because sometimes you want the hot guy, but then you can't burn the hot guy out. And then if you're trying to find the hot guy and there's 3 or 4 and they're in and out, do they ever get in the tempo or the rhythm? So I know Coach Piegler's working hard on that, and it's a very, very competitive room right now. Very, very competitive room, and so that's exciting. That's exciting. So we're excited about that spot. But I think at the end of the day, you're going to have a couple of the workhorses up front, and then the other guys are going to have to find their situation and their role to fit in.
I know so much about timing. Kind of go back to last year a little bit. How difficult, without being in person in the spring, without doing a lot of in-person work in the summer, how difficult was it to build that timing and rhythm that you want as a play caller?
Yeah, it was immensely challenging. It really was to kind of come out. First time we could do anything was in August, and that lasted for 2 or 3 days, and then we took a little respite there and then came back, for the season. So it was very challenging, but, at the end of the day, everybody else was kind of dealing with the same thing. So it is what it is. We've moved past that, and now we're more into a traditional transition, and so excited about it.
We haven't talked to you much. Can you tell us what it's like working with Mel? You have a history with him.
Yeah.
How has he changed over the years, and what's it like?
It's fantastic. He's taken great care of me, and I first got to know Mel and all that at Georgia, and the thing that he does with me is he's not a micromanager of me at all. Of our staff, at least offensively. He certainly tells me what he thinks and has his opinions, but very, very supportive, and so that's outstanding. He really lets us do our deal. I think he's confident in us, and I think the other thing that and I hopefully you guys, now that you've been able to spend some time with him in person, is he's real, if that makes sense. That's what I've always liked about from him. He is who he is, and so that's really exciting to work with that person as a head coach and how he supports you. He's always supported my family, and those types of situations was really important to me. And so yeah, it's been great. It's been great. He's been a blessing to me, and so I'm excited and humbled by the opportunity.
With all the complications of last year, obviously you guys weren't as successful offensively as you wanted to be on Magic. What's the feeling? What's the mood from you guys as a group, and what you want to accomplish this year as opposed to last year being kind of limited?
Yeah, it has to change. We've got to be better. It is what it is. It's real. And so, we focus so much in our room about being a disciplined offensive team. And when being disciplined, then we're talking about strain all the time. We're talking about great communicators and being accountable. And so that's really been our focus. Because I feel if we do those things, we'll build trust among each other, and we'll find success. I really do. So, I mean, they've heard those 5 words or 6 words from the coach's perspective. We defined it for them in meetings. The players have defined it for us in meetings. And so it's a constant. I mean, you can talk about taking care of the ball and all that you want, but if you're a disciplined football team, you take care of the ball. And so we're trying to kind of mold that in and real life stuff. And so that's got to change, and we've making strides in that. And so when we make strides in that, then that's gonna get us to where we need to be on the field. You know, the other huge piece for me has been, particularly in this camp, maybe not even as much in the spring, because we really kind of went back to ground zero in the spring, but it's situational ball. Situational ball. I mean, 3rd down and red zone. You know, we got to step up. We got to step up. I mean, you know, teams that are good, they're good on 3rd down. They're good in the red zone and scoring touchdowns in the red zone. So, you know, again, all those things have to come together, and it's a great challenge. But right now, I'm excited about our trajectory and where we're going.
You said in the past that you want the tight end to kind of be the MVP of the offense. How's that room looking? Specifically, Blake Carr, he's coming in. How's he looking?
Yeah, you know, the tight end room's exciting. We have a lot more kids there, a lot more competition, as we mentioned, with all our position, and they do. I've noticed a huge change in the last week of their play, and their change has been a positive change. Coach Gilmore has done a tremendous job that it's really paying off in the run and the pass. And so, you know, Malik, boy, big athletic body, really, really excited about him continuing to grow, continuing to learn, you know, obviously because his, you know, just getting in here a little bit later. But that and just the addition of the other guys, it's really been positive. So we're looking for good things out of that room, and so far they're on pace to do that.
You mentioned pressure situations and the little sample size that you have had maybe from the scrimmage or some practices. Who's the most calm and cool and collected in those situations?
From a quarterback perspective, you know, I think, you know, they're all pretty good. I really feel I like the poise of both Anthony and Peyton. You know, I really do in that pressure-packed situation. They're both ultra competitive, and sometimes, you know, I have to pull that back a little bit, but I'm okay with pulling it back. So I don't, you know, right now I don't think that there's a clear leader in that particular world. I think they're both really solid there, you know, and my deal is just play the play. Take what is given. You know, when you get in trouble is when you try to do too much. And so that's been a big focal point, and so far they've done well.
Is that a big thing, a big emphasis in terms of cutting down interceptions?
Oh, yeah, it's huge. You know, I mean, you hear Coach tell you, if you've been to practice, if you haven't heard him say tips and overthrows, that's where most of the interceptions come from. Bad ball, tipped up, the guy that's 10 yards behind him that had nothing to do with the play picks it. You know, so tips and overthrows. So, but also just that, you know, take what is given mentality, and you know, working that piece. And if we do that, you know, you stay on course, you give yourself a chance. So, yeah, that's all been a focus of everything we're doing.
Coach, with the trio of wide receivers that you have, that some people are saying could be the best trio in the Big Ten, how do you, as coordinator, kind of pull yourself back to not just want to chuck the ball out?
Right. Yes, that's a great question, because they're very, very talented. But I think, again, it comes back to, you know, people say, well, do you want to have a balanced team, you know, balanced offensive approach? And I guess sure you do if the game allows you to. But, you know, to help those guys, if we can run it, and I think they know that too, if we can run the ball, it's going to help them even be better. And so it's that balance, you know, and you'll hear, we talk about it all the time, no block, no rock. You know, and you've heard probably Mel talk about that, and that's very, very evident. And so it is hard. It is hard not to go that way, but then again, we have to look at the whole offensive deal and what's in the best interest of our offense. And where we're at, we've got to be able to do it all.
You mentioned Keon. What's sort of the roadmap for him to have a regular sort of meaningful role this year? I mean, is it just hammering down the playbook, or is it a situation where with his athletic ability, you kind of just let him learn on the job and let some of those athletic gifts take over a little bit?
Right.
You know, if you get what I'm saying, maybe
Right.
some of that not knowing every single
Right. You know, I think it's a little bit of both, but you know, we've got it. Keon, you know, as you know, as we all know, is very talented, but obviously, again, needs to take the steps, you know, and continuing to fine-tune things, you know, the fine-tune even at the wide receiver position. And so I think it's going to be a little bit of both, and you kind of got it. We got to kind of continuing to see he's done pretty good mentally, and I think he's continuing to grow there. But again, as we get a little more body of work here in the next, you know, 7 to 10 days, kind of see where that takes itself. And then I think I'll have a better feel, is he a guy that you can use just sparingly and get yourself a match or something like that. But right now we're still in that evaluation tool to have him doing it all, and see how he progresses.
A couple more for Coach, and we got Jalen Naylor.
Okay.
What's the plan with getting Malik with basketball? But how much did, for you guys as a staff, did dealing with workforce and baseball maybe help kind of, because there's a lot of, you guys have been going after
Right.
athletes who can't.
Right. I think the biggest thing, and if you look at like Adam and baseball and all that, and then with the basketball piece, is just great lines of communication between our staffs. And that's what's been outstanding. Us and the basketball coaches, we're definitely on the same page. And right now, those guys' focus is football. All right, we get to a different part that might change to basketball, but right now it's all 100% football. And again, with Adam, just the communication pieces with the baseball coaches has kind of helped us to that. And so as long as we're on the same page, it's very manageable. But right now, the focus is football.
What do you think is Spartans Montori Foster? You mentioned him is coming along.
I just think, and you guys might know his past better than I do, but, Montori's got a huge upside, unbelievably talented athlete. Hadn't played much football. So now all of a sudden you get him in, and you get him in the situation of technique and fundamentals and get it doing it every day. And now you can just see him go, and he goes really quicker because he has so much upside. So to me, that would be just the piece that, he hasn't been around football as much as maybe some of the other guys. He was a tremendous basketball player, and I think he took up football later in his high school career, if I'm not mistaken. And so that's why I feel his upside so big.
Fans and media like double reverses and statue.
Right. Absolutely.
You don't have to tell us how big is your bag of trick plays?
Not right now, not very big, but we're going to start working on that. That's the plan this next week. Now that we've got kind of the base stuff in and doing some of those things, you always got to have a few fun tricks in the game. So absolutely. Good. Thanks everybody. All right. Take care.